Hello and welcome to the Strummercamp video podcast. The Strummercamp Music Festival is held every year in Greater Manchester in the north of England. Strummercamp has grown to become one of the friendliest small music festivals in the UK. Details on how to buy tickets for next year's festival can be found on their website, strummercampfestival.com, or on their Facebook page, Strummercamp Festival Official. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And why not send the link to the podcast to your family or friends around the world? It's all about spreading the love, scampers. If you would like to support this channel and make it possible to produce more video podcasts, you can make a donation at Buy Me a Coffee using the QR code on the screen now or via the link in the description below. So let's jump straight into the podcast. Hello, Robin and Joe. Thank you for coming to do this short little interview for Strummercamp. Could you tell us who you are, your band, and what type of music you play?
He's Robin. He's the singer in Random Hand. He plays the trombone and he does some singing.
He's Joe. He plays the bass guitar and he also does some singing. And we are half of Random Hand.
Not the better half.
Not the better half. We're the least tattooed half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is how I describe us.
But you're the two bravest to come up and do this, though.
We're the two.
Yeah, we can't be
we're the
trusted
two who
to-
probably have more to say, but we're not as musically proficient as the other two.
Yeah,
It's probably what I'd
they're
say.
pretty talented chaps.
Talented chaps, yeah. We're the beauty.
We just started the band.
We started the band.
And have more to say.
Yeah,
Like riding off their abilities.
basically.
You're bigging them up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we got them in the band.
So when did the band start? And
Well, this is its 20th year. So yeah, we're celebrating our 20th year, which is ridiculous to say, isn't it, Robin?
It is mad to
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
literally looking at you both, did you start at school or something, college?
You're too kind,
for
sir.
kind of yourself, thank you. I was 17. You would have been 18.
I would have been 18
when we
yeah.
started. Yeah. So we started summer 2002, and then started gigging 2003.
So what's your exit plan when you're leaving?
We messed it up, didn't we?
We sort of tested the water with that, and then we were like,
And then we missed it.
yeah.
We didn't break up. We had a hiatus in 2015, which was just because we'd done this band full time for a long time, for 14, 15 years, and it was really hard work. And even though we'd achieved a lot of wonderful things, had a lot of great time, made a lot of amazing friends and music, it definitely got to the point where it was like, if we keep doing this, we're either going to fall out or it's just going to stop working for some other reason. So we went off, recouped, got our lives together, and now, yeah, the plan was we'd take 2 years off, and we literally on the dot got in a room together after 2 years. And since then, 2018, pretty much, we've just been doing the good stuff. One of the justifications for the hiatus was it felt like because we weren't doing it full time, we weren't getting away with being the band that had that reputation anymore. Like, because we were top of our game at some point, like we're being like as being a live band, we were worried about that, not pulling that off. So I'm still kind of worried that there's a point where we have to kind of think, are we getting away with it? We seem to be getting away with it, but at some point we're not going to get away with it. So we'll see. I don't know what the exit plan is, but probably only
Halfway through a gig, one of us will throw our back out on stage,
Yeah,
and then
it's
it'll just be
gonna
like, that's it. That's
Tantrum.
it. Yeah, done, leaving off, and that'll be the last gig.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah, we had a few years where we were full time with it, so we were averaging about 150 to 200 shows a year when we were full pelt, and then we
to put that statistic in, like I think the most we did was 250 one year. No, we did 250. We did 200 a year for 4 years in a row.
right.
At one point, at the peak of the thing. But our first year of part-time, which was after our 11th or 12th year, we did 120 gigs when we were part-time.
Did we?
Yeah, that was our first year with Dan. When Dan joined, we still did a silly amount of gigs.
Yeah.
Which puts it into... that we burned ourselves out.
Nowadays, we all have day jobs and families and...
So I can imagine that, because if you're doing 100, 200 gigs a year, it's not just turning up on the night, is it? It's all the rehearsals, the planning.
Oh, we
coming
never
up with
rehearsed.
it. You know.
Well, there was sort of a rhythm to that because it's, you know, when we're doing it full time, there'd basically be a block of like, you know, you tour for X amount of time, and then it's like, right, now we need to do new material. So there'd be a very distinct writing block and then a very distinct recording block. Whereas recently, it's, you know, when we've been doing stuff in more recent years, it's more, it's been spread out a bit more. It's not been quite a sort of tight, compact sort of rhythm to it. But we managed to squeeze it all in when we were doing it then, you know. I mean that during that period we were very much living it, you know what I mean? It was sort of
we all lived in the same house together, and
So you all socialise together. You all get on then.
yeah, mostly.
Before or after the hiatus.
Hey, well, obviously, you know, I mean, I'm sure anyone in a band watch, anyone in a very active band watcher will know it's like it becomes sort of more like a family unit than a group of mates. You know what I mean? It's when you've had that much experience with a group of people and travel that much with a group of people, gone through that many things and that many sort of different ups and downs and whatnot. It is sort of more like it's very cheesy to use the word family.
But I'll use it. It's like a family.
It's like a family. We're like a big family.
But no, we are close, and we are. The fact that, you know, now where, I mean, me personally, it's not like I'm the one of the band that's got a kid, you know. So now, like, I've got quite a different priority, like stack of priorities and things. So like, the band is my, once a month for a long weekend we'll go out and do a run of gigs, or we'll do some festivals in the summer and stuff, and that's my socialising, and it's great because I'm with my three best mates. We're making music and we're making a bit of pocket money doing it, you know. So it's not like a golf weekend where I'm spending thousands of pounds on stuff, you know. This is a good way to spend my time, and it's rewarding. So yeah, it's good to we're incredibly lucky to have that, you know.
Quick shout out to your wife and child then.
Yes, Maggie and Kaylee. Hello. Yeah, they're great. They're good.
Daddy still thinks of you. Because that does change it, doesn't it?
Oh, but yeah, absolutely.
So have you wrote any songs about it?
No. It's too early for that. She's only 21 months old. So yeah.
Where do you get your inspiration from?
Robin
Gets it. We all get it from Robin.
For material, for songwriting, I mean, you run the risk of saying this into a therapy session if you want to.
Take it away.
If you want to do that.
Does it allow you to get things off your chest?
Yeah. I mean, lyrically, yeah, very much so, yeah. So it's very much event lyrically. There's a lot of stuff that's based around it. It's sort of, I mean, it's quite hard to sort of quantify succinctly, but I guess there's like, you know, it's a lot of very political material, and it's a lot of very sort of like socio-psychological material. It's a lot of... It's a weird thing, because when you write for a band, you're obviously aware that you're on stage with three other people. So as daft as it sounds, I really fight a constant battle to try and not make it too personal, because it's not my act. It's a collaborative act. So I always try and bear that in mind when I'm writing. It's sometimes, but obviously, you know, the head that you write with is the same head that you process the world with. So it's only inevitable there's going to be some cross contamination and stuff. So, you know,
So I'm getting the impression here that something happens, you write a few lines about it, and then you go into the band and say, "Hey, I've got this."
Well, all right. I mean, if I write something, I'll write the whole thing. I won't just. I won't. Yeah, I don't muck around like spitballing stuff with lyrics. I'll write A to B, and I might tweak a few bits here and there, but I'll go in with the full thing. Or if it's a case of, because we all chip in with the composition of the music, so if it's a case of there's a body of music that needs lyrics to, you know, I'll sit in while they're playing. I'll sit in the corner of the room, go through it, try and sift out where I think the beats and the hooks would be in that, what the melodies would be, and then I'll go away and put something to it. And if it's something I write myself, if it's a song that I write myself, I'll take care of the whole thing at home in the corner of my room and then come in with full stuff. But it is something I would probably use as like a venting process or a...
Sounds quite interesting, because I can imagine it's like almost like a poet. You've got this set of lyrics, but you then got to chop it up and think, right, where's the chorus, continuation?
Well, because I write some of the music myself. I've you know, we've done it for 20 years, so I've developed a pretty good ear for you know, it's not like I won't write a set of prose and then set it to the music. As I'm listening to something, I can it's simultaneously what the lyrical content is going to be, and then how that is going to fit in melodically into the song. That'll typically come simultaneously, because if you do it for long enough, it's like anything. If you practice it enough, you pick up an aptitude for being able to draw the things out together. So
Okay. The craft,
if you want to use the word, like whittling, or.
I'm struggling a little bit because I'm a visual person. I'm a photographer and a videographer,
Yeah.
so I see things in a visual way. But you see things in a musical, lyrical way, do you? When you start out with a song, you think, right, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to then throw the bass in there, and the drums are going to.
Can be like that, yeah. I mean, it's I mean, the risk of sounding too pretentious. Like it's with a lot of the time with music composition and with specifically song competition, if there's a hook going over something as well, it's not even that you'll construct it, it's that you'll hear it, and you'll typically be doing something else, you know what I mean? So I might be bloody walking the dog or doing some ironing or something, and then a phrase with the melody and a particular rhythm to it, perhaps a particular drum pattern or something, will, like, you know, you'll get a glimpse into that bit, because everything. I'm going to sound really pretentious now, so I apologise.
No, it's not, because you're a crafter. You've come up with something that wasn't there beforehand.
Yeah.
You've got these lyrics or something walking your dog, and it's come up and you've made something out of it. So it's not pretentious.
Well, I'm a firm believer that any sort of artistic expression, sort of, for want of a better phrasing, already exists in like a parallel dimension. You don't construct stuff; you just get a little window into seeing that bit, and then you open other windows around it, and then you sort of, you know, everything is already laid out. You just find it basically.
Now we're getting deep.
We are getting deep. Well, this is what I was wanting. You know, we'll get into a therapy thing, but I mean that's sort of tends to be how it works.
You feel like you're discovering these things.
You do feel like you're discovering these things to an extent, and then you've got you know, and like it's weird because when you know, in the early days of a band, when you try to find what your style and your sound is, that can be a very sort of mixed higgledy-piggledy experience. You know what I mean? And then you sort of you know, we made a conscious decision a year or two in terms of how we wanted to sound. You know, a lot of the early stuff of our band didn't sound anything like how we sound now. And then there came a point where we were like, right, we're gonna do minor key stuff. We're gonna have this. It's gonna have this kind of vibe to it. We had a very specific conversation about that and about going down that route. And so that sort of gives you more definitive guidelines to work with. And then, like I say, once you do it enough, I mean, we've released 4 albums, and you know we'd written songs before those albums, and so we've had a lot of experience constructing and putting stuff together. So you just, it's like anything else. You practice it enough, you get an aptitude for it, and then you kind of know the steps you need to take when it comes about.
Are your first albums really distinctive compared to the later albums, and in terms of sound and?
In some respects, I mean, we've sort of managed to maintain a consistency of sounding like us. I'd like to think it's got better.
Yeah, I think the thing with Random Hand musically is we set our stall initially as a very wide. There was a very wide like room for. We gave ourselves loads of room for manoeuvre. We weren't just a ska punk band playing something in a certain style. We had, you know, some really quite heavy metal stuff in there, and then it went all the way down to reggae and dub, and everything in between with a little bit of rap sprinkled here and all that kind of stuff. So we gave ourselves a very big, you know, a big remit, which I don't think we've massively shocked anyone with any of the albums we've done since, but we've still managed to create an album every time that's surprised people and felt refreshing compared to the last one and compared to the body of work that's already there. So I think if I was to just kind of try and explain to someone what's on the new album, I could probably explain the first album in almost the same way, apart from maybe a few little references. But it's undeniably fresher. It's undeniably different, even though it still sounds like Random Hand. I don't know if you feel that's a good way of putting that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's an evolved one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we have evolved, but like we managed to make a fresh and different sounding album, but without doing something like, I don't know, like Incubus would have done, where they suddenly upset half their audience by mixing the formula up completely, but on the 4th album or something like that. You know, we can still feel like we've grown, and I don't think we're going to upset anybody.
I think we're pretty self-aware of what we are, aren't we? You know,
yeah.
As a general rule of thumb. So.
Yeah.
So after 20 years, do you still get tense? Do you still get butterflies before you go and play live on stage?
I think all of us have a different experience with that. Because I I mean, I don't think I do as much. Not before we play, but I think like there's a very little moment when we walk on, where that moment it's all like, oh, this is really happening, and I have a real little moment there. But I don't really before we play, and I've like I say, 20 years in, and a lot of years of doing stuff. I feel pretty confident in our craft, and I'm mostly going on stage to really have a good time. I think you still have some.
So in terms of actually playing, I don't particularly feel the pressure there, because I mean, you know, we've done this 1,500 times or something now. You know what I mean? So I don't sort of feel any necessarily like a pressure or an anxiety about doing well and stuff like that. You know, and you have a group of people you trust musically and all the rest of it. I do actually. The thing that I am anxious about if I'm going to go on stage is just like putting physical effort into something, because it's because I don't normally do that when I'm not on stage. So my main thing going on is like, oh God, you know, I better like do some stretches and warm my knees up. You know what I mean? Is my back going to be sore after this? Are my shoulders going to conk out on me? Is my throat going to give up on me? You know, because I've had that at gigs. You know, I've had my throat give up, or playing the trombone, your lips might go or something like that. You know, so it's I suppose I have the anxieties of someone who doesn't have faith in their own physicality. But beyond that, I'm not particularly fussed about.
How acrobatic are you with the trombone?
Acrobatic's a strong word.
Because you mentioned before about putting your back out. I'm just
He's
wondering.
very lively. He's very lively.
I do tend to go off on one a little bit. So, but basically what happens is, I mean, this is the same thing has happened for 20 years, which is we'll start the gig. And I'll get really excited that I'm on a stage in front of people, and I'll go hell for leather for like 45 seconds, and then go like, oh, well, I need to commit to this now for the next hour, because if I don't, I'll look like a chump. And then I said, but next time I'll pace myself, but I never do.
You never pace yourself.
No.
So do you come off buggered?
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
He normally collapses in a bit of a heap.
Yeah.
And so how do you relax and recover after that?
Robin's never relaxed or recovered from anything.
That's very true. I'm never in a relaxed state. I mean, my you know, I'm not particularly. I've never been a particularly rock and roll person. You know what I mean? I like to sit in a quiet corner and eat some chips. That's my thing. And replenish.
But not lots of strong coffee and.
Not afterwards. No, it's quite late, and I wouldn't sleep very well. I don't want to
sleep.
No, I've started limiting myself to one coffee in the morning. Although I did have 2 today.
Wow, it's a special occasion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a festival, innit?
So what made you become musicians? Why did you choose this and not become bricklayers or drivers? Or
I'm guessing you didn't have a choice, did you?
Well, my parents tried to send me down a different path. My parents were full-time musicians. My parents were folk singers, so my dad still is a professional musician. Has crafted out a nice little living being a singer-songwriter. My mum was in the same way, was a traditional folk singer, Irish folk singer and stuff, and a lot of my family are. So it was just in my blood. It was never really any question really.
So are you one of these 9 people that come from a family where you can pick up any instrument?
No, I can't. So the thing is, I come from a family of not. I'd say we're a family of entertainers that they really like writing music, but we're not really studious, if that makes sense. So we're not all grade 8 classical musicians and stuff. We're people that know how to write a song, and most of us are doing that on a guitar, you know. So it's not quite, you know, like I can't pick up a violin and then a piano. I can write a nice tune on a guitar, but I can't tell you what chords they are. And that's pretty much the kind of the MO really, just doing that. So yeah, so for me that was it, and just wanted to get out entertaining, wanted to be on stage and do that. Like I say, me and Robin are the 2 original members in the band, and we started as a bunch of mates, and we were all into music.
So we were in a band before Andaman as well. We played together, so we've been jamming together quite a while. But I guess it's like because I'm not from a musical family, you know. I'm sort of the black sheep in that respect. But I guess it's just I've always been interested in anything sort of, you know, expressive, you know, film and TV and theatre and books and whatnot. And you know, music is obviously like a sort of a very exciting thing when you're younger, and then particularly when you get into your teens and you start discovering your own kind of like your own tastes and things like that. And then I think at that age, if you're into artistic things, music is kind of a great apex. If you discover you've got a certain passion for it, a certain aptitude for it, then it's a great sort of apex between. You can express yourself, but it's also sociable because you're with other people, and it can go out and take you to places. There's a scope to do that. So you just sort of like buzzed by, you hear something you really like and you think, oh, I wonder if I could do a version of that. I wonder, you know what I mean? And it's kind of, that whole thing is just very exciting. And I think the whole social aspect of it as well was quite a good thing. I've always had fairly bad social anxiety problems, and music has been a very good way of sort of being accepted somewhere or being able to quell those anxieties because I'm sort of doing part of something bigger, or so I've always found it
part of a team and relaxing.
Yeah.
So why the trombone?
I played trumpet at school, but that was just doing sort of like weekly lessons and Saturday big band stuff, just as a sort of thing to do. I thought it was fun thing to get into. Then I gave it up, and then so I gave it up when I was like 13 or something like that, and then I got really into ska punk and ska when I was like 15, 16. And I don't know if it's because I'd played brass, but just immediately loved the idea that here was punk music, which is something which I was very naturally drawn to and found had resonated with me, and then here was brass over the top of it, and it gave it this sort of like quirky and sinister and theatrical dimension, which I thought was really, really interesting. So I thought, well, I used to play brass, it'd be great to do that again. I don't know why I think my logic at the time was I had a mate who I knew played trumpet, so I was like, oh, if I learn trombone, maybe I could persuade him to be in a band, and then we could have like an actual horn section. So I think it was I think it was my 16th birthday or something. Mum got me a second-hand trombone, and then I remember pulling a sickie from school the next day, and just like try to play along to a load of my favourite songs.
Excellent.
It's a very the problem with trombone. I mean, the thing is the reason why trombone is useful in a band like Random Hand, where I'm the only horn player, is that it sits in the middle of the register. So it's not as high as a trumpet, it's not as low as a bass trombone or a bari sax or something like that. So it's if you're going to be the only horn, it's quite a useful one to have because it sort of sits in the middle of everything. On record, I double it with trumpet just to give it a bit of pop. But the flip side of that is, as anyone who plays trombone in a punk band will know, you're playing a lot of DIY spaces, you're right on top of people, and a lot of close calls, nearly dinging people in the face, or
Lots of black eyes on the front row.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sometimes you have to, someone decides they're going to jump on stage. You've got an instrument which is telescopic and extends a few feet either side, and you've got to be very, very wary of your space around you.
Do you think you never pick up any other instrument, or are you just sticking with the brass?
Well, I mean, not for the band. I wouldn't have thought. I mean, I've dabbled with a bit of guitar, but out of necessity for songwriting. So that was, so I could write songs for the band, so I could come in and go, you play these chords and I'll play this trombone line over the top of it. The first band we were in, I actually played drums for, but I wasn't a particularly good drummer. I got to a certain point and then didn't improve. I would really, really like to be able to play piano, because I think it's a very useful one to play, and it's kind of, I think that's another sociable one, if you're just in a space that has one in it, you can sit down and tinker, it's quite useful, but I think it's very useful for songwriting as well. I'm just really bloody lazy.
Yeah. So you're hoping for another lockdown so that you can...
Maybe, yeah, it's quite handy.
What about you, Joe? Anything you want to pick up, or are you just happy with guitar?
Banjo, don't you?
Shut up, Robin. Shut up. Why would you bring up a banjo in this circumstances? Everyone's having a nice time.
Ukulele?
No, none of that either.
Like any stringed instrument, this guitar.
No, so as a kid, I played the cello, and I briefly had a little kind of renaissance with it. About 5 years ago, I got one. I only had it for a year, but I just ran out of space because I moved house and it went back again. But picking it up again was brilliant. Like, it felt really nice. And like I felt just like after playing bass and playing other instruments for 15 years, well, 20 years, like I'd picking it up again after being a kid. Like I was far better at it than I thought I was going to be. So I'd really, really love to find time to get back to cello, but it's not going to be time. It's going to be a while yet. But yeah, that's the instrument I would love to give some proper time to again.
Okay, so are you on social medias?
Yes, the band is all over that, in all the relevant places.
So we can find you on TikTok?
There is, but I don't use it very often. I had a little go with it. So it's still there. You'll still find us. But I imagine when the new album comes out in October, there might be another attempt to be there again, which will then fade off after a month of a few posts.
If viewers want to find out more about you, merchandise, CDs, tracks, tickets for future gigs, where's the best place for them to go?
It's not fully going yet, but there is randomhand.co.uk, which is just launched with all of our tour dates on it. And over the next month or two, it'll start having a few more things like the album stuff and the videos as they come. Because when this comes out, we'll have just released our first single the first new music since 2015. So really excited to have that out, Life Jacket. So that'll be on there. And then hopefully there'll be few more singles soon, and then a new album in October. So yeah, randomhand.co.uk will get you to all the right places.
Right, guys, well, thank you for coming. Now, you're playing later tonight.
Yeah.
You are our headline act tonight. Thank you very much. Do you need to, what you got to do to warm up? Are you going to...
Well, we need our drummer to get here, because he isn't here yet. So that would be stage 1 of warming up. Yep. Stage 2 will... Remembering songs. Yep. Finding the set list and writing it out 4 times.
Drinking some water.
H2O.
H2O hydrating,
Yep.
and then maybe a few physical warm-ups, working on the upper dorsal fin.
Dorsal fin?
The lower detrimental glands. I don't really know what I'm doing.
What's your first number? What's he going to lead with?
Well, this is the discussion.
Some debate about that.
Was that maybe we shouldn't play the normal opener that we have done for the last few months.
That's risky having not rehearsed, but...
It's just taking a song out. It's fine.
I'm always up for less songs.
Yeah.
So... You don't know what you're going to be playing.
No, we know this. The set has been written.
Right.
But so in the craft of writing a set, I feel there's quite a different.
And in the journey, you're going to take the audience.
Yeah, exactly. There's a different vibe in a packed little club room of 100 to 200 people than there is in a field.
In a marquee.
Yeah. And we've been going quite hard and intense with the with the gigs, and we've been starting with a bit of a punk banger. I just feel like. Today, people are going to appreciate a bit of a smash with the horn, nice little bit of ska,
purely dub set.
You're being silly now, Robin.
Dub jam for an
being
hour.
silly.
Dub jam for an hour.
He's just being silly. We're not here to be silly. We're here to give information.
All right, I'm up for a dub jam though.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
And we'll do a little one.
Okay.
Right.
Well, remember to smile because I'll be out there, and there's a couple of other photographers, Kenny and John. They'll be there taking lots of pictures, which we'll hopefully put into this. And thank you for coming. Thank you, Robin and Joe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for watching and listening to the podcast. Use the links in the description below to find more detailed information about the bands or on how to buy tickets for next year's Strummercamp Music Festival. Don't forget to check out the other videos and podcasts available on this channel in the Strummercamp Music Festival playlist.